Welcome to Female Founder Lab, the podcast for female founders looking to expand their business internationally. This podcast is sponsored by TABS, who helps European companies expand to the US market. And in this episode, we're going to listen to a panel talk that we did in Amsterdam together with two founders, Marthe de Groot of Marie Marie and Gwen van de Pas of Bloem & Wolf. So let's start with an introduction. Can you please introduce yourself, tell a bit more about your company and why you started this brand?
I'm Gwen. Oh, lots of feedback. No. To sit close to you. I'm Gwen. I'm the founder of Bloem & Wolf, and we do silk flowers, but not ugly. It is possible. And we really try to bring some coolness to the more sustainable alternative, and we do that both B2C and B2B. In B2C, it's we sell the bouquets, and in B2B, we do mostly subscriptions for hotels, restaurants, offices, etc.
My name is Marthe and I'm the founder of Marie Marie, and we make handmade bags together with a community of women, over 200, divided in hubs across the Netherlands, and we are growing quite fast. So this year is all about scaling up and onboarding new wholesale partners and enter new markets.
Thank you. And let's start with you, Marthe, because you launched the brand in the fashion industry. And of course, we all know the fashion industry is not the most sustainable industry. But you chose to do things differently with a slow community-based business model. Can you say more about that? And also, did you receive a lot of pushback in the beginning to your business model?
Actually, I did not receive any pushback. Everyone was very enthusiastic about it. But I think that's because it's a story about the women. So we are really focusing on their passion and their craft and telling that story. So I think all the responses to that are always quite warm, and you really see they really feel part of our brand. And I think that feeling really corresponds to a very positive reaction. But the pushback, so actually all the pushback, all the responses are quite nice.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the biggest pushback maybe is combining that social vision with a commercial vision, because for our women, for our community, it's a hobby, and I started it out as a passion project, so not really as a brand. And I think I didn't think that through in the beginning. So I was like, there are so many women who can do crocheting, so what's the problem? But I did not think of the supply chain, of how many facets there will be to actually create a bag. So I think the pushback was more in how the hell are we going to meet up with the demand? Because we had an order from Anna Nina when we had 3 crocheters, and I was like, and I cannot do crochet myself, and I just did it. So I think that was something I was really struggling with in the beginning. How are we going to make this scalable? And I think still this morning I was having a conversation with Emma. I will tell more about that later, but that's our biggest challenge, I think. So the pushback was not in the response. And I think also because we're not focusing on being sustainable, but more on making a beautiful product and doing that in a social manner. But we are not very activistic on that matter. So I think that's why the reactions were quite positive.
Yeah, we want to know all about the challenges to scale and kind of how you rebuild your operations. But before we go there, maybe go to you first, Gwen.
Oh, sorry.
Because you started your business and you kind of go against, of course, the polluting fresh flower industry. And you're a big example of how commercial success and impact go hand in hand. You also raised a major round. Can you share more about your lessons so far?
Yeah, lots of lessons. And I fully agree actually with what Marthe was saying about how we were also very much not an activist brand. Even though we do go against the flower industry, we just want to create a really beautiful alternative so that if the consumer or B2B customers are ready to transition, we're the only option they can think about. That's kind of our approach, which doesn't mean that internally we're not very much driven by the sustainability aspect, but it's not our market play, if you will.
Yeah.
Other lessons learned. Yeah, I mean, so many. Yeah, any specific areas you want to dive into?
Well, maybe before we go there, because of course, so last November with Black Friday, you did not participate in Black Friday.
Yeah.
There you said, well, that's a commercial thing that we don't want to participate in. Can you say more about that?
Yeah.
And also how you explain that to your investors?
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, so that's a good one where we always have to balance impact and being commercial. And I actually believe they really do go hand in hand, because the bigger we get, the more impact I can have on my supply chain, the more, of course, people I can help transition to a more sustainable alternative, etc. So I don't think they are at odds with each other at all. But yes, Black Friday is a good alternative of where I think the commercial aspect is pushing it too far, because I don't think it's good for anybody if we just throw a bunch of products into the world with, huge discounts and just, make people get more and more and more stuff. So we decided not to participate, and actually we have multiple investors, but one is our biggest one, and I did talk to them about it, and they were in full support. And they also said, we're building something here for the long run, and we really want to build a brand that has real value and not, just create as much volume as a product as quickly as you can.
Oh, so that is also something that you look for in your investors and the people you work with, that they share the same values.
100%. Super important and very difficult, because sometimes you come across investors right when you need money the most, and it's really tempting to just, take the money. But I really, really, really try to stay away from bad marriages in that respect. And other respects.
In any. No, in the long run, of course, that then doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because beforehand, we received a lot of questions about how to scale your company, but also how to scale it and pursue growth while staying true to your core values. So you already mentioned something about it, Marthe, but you also shared a very open LinkedIn post recently, where you indeed shared that there is so much momentum and there is a lot of demand. But the past year, the challenge was in keeping up with that demand and your supply chain. Yeah. So can you tell more about the challenges, but also how you rebuilt the supply chain?
Yeah, no, I think it's a long story, but I think before that you need to understand how our chain works. I mentioned it earlier. The bags are all made by hand, and they are made by our community, and for them it's a hobby. So for them it's not work, and they don't care if the bag needs to be finished in 2 days or 3 weeks. I think I was quite surprised by the response and the demand, and so how it works: before a bag is a bag, that takes a long time. So we have a ball of yarn. That yarn always needs to be in stock. Then we need to make a crochet package from that. That package needs to be sent out to the crocheter, but there are 200 crocheters. You're not going to send out 200 packages individually. So we have them divided in hubs, and every hub has one coordinator who is distributing the packages amongst their crocheters. So then the crochet work is done, that gets sent back to us, that needs to be sewn into an insert. That's a forbidden word at our office at this moment, because if one part of that chain is not available, the whole chain falls down. So if the color red is not in stock, we cannot make the bags. If the inserts are not there, we cannot finish the bags. And that's something, it's like a domino effect, and that's very frustrating for everybody. So that was when I shared the LinkedIn post. I was like, it's going quite well, but it's also taking a toll of everyone I see and I'm laughing. But what we changed, and we were literally having a conversation about it this morning. We now have a crochet hub in Breda. That's a social workplace where all the crochet packages are made. We have a new yarn supplier, so all the yarn is in stock, which is actually quite heavy on our cash flow, because you need to have a lot of money in stock all the time. Yeah. Different than when you order and pay 30% and pay it later. So that's something we changed. So we have the we have the crochet hub in Breda, and I think in our team changed a lot. So we have now Emma, we joke she's the somehow, that's what we said earlier. But she's in contact with our hubs daily. She knows what they eat when they go on holiday, because they need to feel seen in order to work so hard for us, because it's their hobby and they get paid, but not much. So it's not their job. So I think there's a big change, and we also have help from, actually everyone is here, so we have help from Claudia, who's helping us with managing all the wholesale orders and calculating the right pricing, especially when you deliver to the US, that the margins are right, that you make good afspraak, sorry, I don't know the word again, but that you just negotiate good deals so that you don't lose money on making on
the agreements that you have with the partners. Yeah.
And we have you, who's helping us with our socials. And I think now this year we have, for the first time, I feel like we have the right people to really meet the growth. And what you said earlier also, that understand also the impact vision that we are working on. So they are in it because they love the women too, and that they want that story to be told too. So I think that's important. And we have 3 suppliers which we are onboarding who can help us really scale the production. So I think the foundation is there. We are in the end of the challenges, but once that chain of the community is working, so if all the yarn is in stock, all the inserts are there, and that keeps on flowing, then it will work out. But that's something that I had to find out along the way. So
yeah. Because if you look back and indeed everything that you've now learned the past year, do you have any things you would have set up differently from the start, or any tips that you have for others to set it up right from the beginning?
Start with stock. And don't, because I think in the first year I said yes to everything, and I think I went too fast with that. So I had the Bijenkorf, I had Anna Nina, but my grandmother was stitching labels in the weekends. Like, everyone has a burnout because I said yes to that. So I think, and my boyfriend said to me, "Why did you say yes?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to say no if the Bijenkorf is reaching out to me." But I think the power maybe should be that you say, okay, we're not ready this year, but you can do it next year, because I think that would gave us more space to really build that chain I was explaining earlier. So that's something I would definitely do differently, and also look for an external supplier earlier, because I thought there are so many women who can do crochet, but the hurdle behind that, I did not think that through. Maybe it's naive, but it's something I think you need to find it out by doing it.
Yeah, it's really learning by doing.
Yeah, because it also brings you a lot of space to test. So if we need to make a sample, we just go to Joke or Hanneke and we ask her to make 3 samples, and then we send it to our supplier. So it's not only bad, but
it's nice to have that flexibility as well. Yeah. And then Gwen, for you with Bloom and Wolf, because you launched in April 2023, if we still kind of stick to the operations and being able to scale, what are some of the lessons that you've learned there, or challenges that you experienced?
I don't like operations very much. I find my team here, they're like,
after this we'll go to branding.
And I wanted to add a little bit to what Marthe was saying about saying yes to everything. This is my biggest challenge and my biggest superpower. And I think it's also, I don't know if I would do it differently, I know maybe it would be smarter, I don't know, but also it's amazing, right? Like, there are so many things that, helped us get to where we were, because I was being naive and stupid and said yes, even though we didn't have the team, because we figured it out and you figured it out. And otherwise, if you're going to be sitting there careful, I don't know, nothing's going to happen. So I don't know, I have a tough relationship with saying yes. I think in terms of scalability and operational lessons, I've learned more and more how important it is to stick to a standard framework, a standard collection, and saying yes, but always thinking through, but what is the scalable way of doing it, right? So if every customer says, oh, I actually don't want the yellow tulip, I want a pink tulip, I don't know. It doesn't work. Even though in the beginning I would also say yes to all of those things, but you have to be scalable and standardized, but still make the customer feel that you're saying yes. That's kind of how I'm trying to navigate it. So I say yes, but I say we can do it. However, you have to pay an extra fee, or there's always a yes.
Because then with a standard framework, mostly in the processes or indeed the products that you then offer, that you don't have too many exceptions? Or?
Yeah, it's really both, because you can imagine with flowers, like I would love to do, say, weddings, right? But then you're gonna spend a week with a bride that says, I don't want the yellow, I want the pink. And that's really challenging, and it's going to take a huge toll on your operation. So then if we want to do weddings, how do we approach it in a way that's still scalable and standardized? And I think there's usually an answer to that.
No, but that's also absolutely what I love about the conversation that we've had so far, that I do indeed feel that you're very focused on the bigger picture. So you may say yes to a lot of opportunities, but only if it's opportunities. You don't get distracted by kind of the noise.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah.
And then let's talk about your fundraising journey a little bit, because you raised a round of 1.4 million, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
We all know that it can be challenging as a female founder to raise money. So can you share more about your experience and maybe any tips that you have?
Yeah, fundraising is another love-hate relationship thing. A little bit more towards the hate, maybe. We just closed our second round actually last week.
Congratulations.
And you need it, right? And I want to grow quickly, and so you need the capital. So we have to, even though I never want to get up and do fundraising, it's important. And yes, it's harder as a woman, but I also always try to think, let's try to think of it as a superpower as well, right? Like there are also funds out there that actually want to really fund women, but you have to find them and you have to look harder, right? And so I think in fundraising also the lesson would be say yes to every coffee you can possibly get. And even if you think in advance, I don't know, probably not going anywhere, that might be the person that introduces you to the person that's going to write the check. And so it's very intense, and it sometimes feels like you're not going anywhere, but you only need a couple, right? And it's a bit of a numbers game. So I just have a million conversations and try to always be responsive. And if there is a follow-on, for example, that you discuss in the meeting, always immediately actually do the follow-up, get that next call in, and show them that that's how you build. And I would say always come with an actual product. In B2C, especially if you have a physical product, fundraising is super difficult, much more difficult than if you have AI in your name right now, it's easier, right? But if you have artificial flowers in your name, that's really hard. And so I decided to only fundraise once we had built the platform. There was a working product, people could order, people could see the whole flow. And that was, I think, more valuable than a pitch deck.
And then how do you go about it? So you really research before you start the investors that you think are the best fits, and then you reach out for those coffees? Or?
I just reached out to everybody that had investor, anybody on their LinkedIn, basically. And also just talk to all my friends about I'm fundraising. Do you know anybody? Introduce me to someone. And then ultimately, you get then you're overwhelmed. But I think that's the way to do it, because you have to search for the fit, and it's not easy.
Yeah, and like you said, it's really a numbers game. It's a lot of conversations, and you never know who is going to be the one that really can help you further. We spoke about operations, about fundraising, but now I also want to know more about already kind of the demand we spoke about, or the visibility, because what I personally also love about both Bloem & Wolf and Marie Marie is that it's such two strong, visually beautiful brands, and that it really stands out, I feel. But it's not always very easy to stand out, because there's already so much out there. So what do you do, or what helps for you to stand out and to get recognized?
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first? Go for it, obviously.
I think for us, Actually, I studied branding, so I think that naturally was already when I started, okay, what is our tone of voice? What is our story? How are we going to tell it? And I think that was also our pitfall, because people in the beginning thought we were way bigger than it actually was. But what I think what is so strong about Marie is that it's a handmade product, so it always feels a little bit unique. So I think that automatically triggers people, because I never got so many compliments on the bag. And I'm not saying it because it's my bag, but that's actually the reason why I started it, because I bought the bag at my grandmother's crochet club and I took it with me, and so many people said, oh, it's such a nice bag. And that's when I thought, oh, maybe I should make it not myself, but maybe maybe I should do something with that. So I think that was a compelling thing, and I think to make a product succeed, it needs to be catching the eye. So I think that's, and we have the stripes, always the same order, always, so the colors differ, but it's very recognizable, and we let that come back in everything. And then we have the story with the community, which is that is the branding. So we don't need to make a marketing story, because the women are the story. We have so many stories about them. So that's a very easy point to build the brand around, I think. So that, I think for us, that makes it stand out.
And it's also great that if indeed also the colors, you recognize it right away, like, oh, that's a Marie.
Yeah. And one more addition, because when I started it, you had the gunny hats with the logo on the front. And the bag was ready, and I said, I want the label on the outside. And then my grandmother, she said, why are you going to put it on the outside? You should not do that. And I thought, but everyone needs to see it. And now when the bag is not finished with a label, you see that something's missing. So I think that was a very strong choice in the beginning, like the label needs to be on the outside.
Yeah, I would say for both of our brands, it's really authentic to, I think, who we are, right? So the story you're telling, and it's very real. And I think for us as well, I had a very strong idea of what I wanted the photography to be like. I have a background in film, so I care a lot about the pictures and just, what the styling, everything needs to be right. And I think that the difficulty is sometimes the market. We have a joke internally about veldboeket. I hate veldboeketten, but we have to sell the damn thing because people want veldboeketten, right? But if I need to choose the brand picture, it's not going to be the veldboeket, right? And I think it matters, actually. It's funny, but I think it matters. It has to be we just had our shoot again. It has to be exactly how we feel like it's right. With a small creative team, it has to be right. And I think it's, that personal taste and the story behind it is important. We also have every bouquet is inspired by a female artist. The whole brand is based on a female artist. And that also is, I think just the authenticity of that is important, because people recognize it and people understand what that feels like.
Because what do both of you still do yourself when it comes to branding and social media, content?
Definitely the photography. I mean, I don't shoot the photo, but I will never, will always be there. I built the collections with florists. Again, same to you, I could not put a bouquet together. But I'm always there. I usually have about half of the ideas are mine, and then they execute, and then we work together. So that's definitely, and then the rest, pretty much not anymore on the social media and stuff. Of course, I'm involved, but I don't do it myself anymore.
No, you hired for that.
For us, I was thinking when you were answering, I was like, what am I doing actually all day? But I think for us, it's really a team effort, because we have such a clear story that it's quite easy, like, okay, we need to tell a story about the makers. And then, but I think, because Marie is actually me as a brand, so I don't really need to guide people what's needed, because it's quite clear and everyone feels it. But regarding our socials, we have Yul here. She is helping us really with the content for the ads, the strategy behind it, which pillars are we going to communicate, and tells us like, okay, maybe we need this, but then you need to be the one who tells that story, because it's weird if someone else is going to do that. Or so the strategy, I think, is because our vision is so clear, is based on that, and then I'm maybe giving some nudges, but the execution is really with the team.
Yeah. And then the storytelling and the community approach really helps you to also share that.
Yeah, for me, I only on LinkedIn, I sometimes post about my own journey, but I am not, I saw you doing it, but I find it very difficult to stand in the spotlight and tell the story about Marie, because I feel like it's not only my story, it's the story of the women. So that's, and I'm so jealous of founders who are going to stand there and tell everything, because I'm like, I literally break down when I have to do that. But I think it works, but it's, so it's very nice if you have a team who understands that and can really translate your vision into a brand. And that's also what you were saying. Like, I think it's really authentic what we're doing. It's not a made-up story, so it's very easy to make something out of that. Yeah. And I see that with what you're doing as well. Yeah.
But how do you feel about that, Gwen? Do you feel like you need to be visible as a founder for your company? I know that sometimes investors also say like, hey, you need to be visible as a founder.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hot topic because I have the same feeling you do. I find it incredibly cringe. But we now have I was doing it on LinkedIn a little bit already. It was actually a challenge last year. We do our quarterly goals, and then sometimes we give each other goals, and it's kind of a joke. And then somebody in marketing said, you need to hit 250,000 views by whatever, next month. And I like a challenge. So they knew, what to do. And then we realized it really works. And we got a ton of leads out of it, and really investor lead, all kinds of stuff came out of it. And we thought, shit, this actually works.
So you posting as a founder on LinkedIn works for your business to get more leads
works
and opportunities.
a lot better than posting as a company. And then now we just hired somebody for social media who said, okay, these are the 4 buckets of posts I'm going to do. And one of them is the founder story. Kind of, do you agree? But it's happening. And I think you need somebody like that to push you over the edge, because I do think this is something that women aren't as good at, and similar to me, for me. But then having somebody who says, I'm writing the script, I'm doing all of it, and you just need to go stand there and say this line, it helps, because then you do it. And then again, you see it works. And so, I think it's, you have to get over it a bit, maybe, if you want, right? But I care about the growth. And
it works even better than the company posting.
100%,
And I'm also curious if we talk a bit more about visibility, because of course, how to expand internationally. If you expand to new markets, it's even more challenging to stand out because you're the new kid on the block. So what's your strategy, or how do you go about it when you go to new markets?
For us, I think it was kind of accidental. But not to the US. I think that was a big wish for me. But for example, we are at some big stores in Paris, and they reached out to us. And I think there the strategy is a bit twofold. We focus on key accounts to have brand awareness. So in Paris, we are at Le Bon Marché, at Merci. And I think there people see you. So that's how we found our distributor in Japan. So then it's kind of a trickle effect, and now this is the first year we have a strategy around that. So we have an agent in Germany who knows our positioning, so who's securing stores who are in that same segment, and then we want to focus on B2C, so with ads, with UCG content, with brands that are similar to us, so that we can do social collaborations and that kind of idea. So that, and I'm not sure if you want me to go to the US now, but I think there, there we had just a wish list. So we went to a trade show, and there we found Revolve, and then the whole ball went rolling, actually.
You do research beforehand. Like, what are the stores you want to be in? What are the partners you want to collaborate with?
I should really say do research and look at the brands which you like, where they are stocking. I do think, because I do think you need to go there. For the US, it helped for us a lot that we went to a trade show. And if you don't want to do the investment, you can also go there and meet people because everyone is there. There are agents, there are showrooms, there are buyers. So I think, and you can research stores which you like. So I think that really helped. So for us, if I put it down, focus on the key accounts you want to sell on and use that for brand awareness, and then simultaneously do the D2C market.
Yeah.
I think that's...
For you, Gwen?
Yeah, so we are behind Marthe on the US, but we are planning to go hopefully by October. And we actually quite similarly, really think about partners, because if you, the US is I lived there for a long time, so I think I have an advantage in understanding the American a bit, and they all want something European, but they really trust the American, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to find ways to work with other brands that they already have the trust. And so we were approached by a company called Moda Operandi, which is a big curator of luxury brands. And I think that's the partner that we're now likely going to launch with, because they already have the trust of the American consumer, that if they say this is luxury and this is nice, then you don't have to do that work by putting a bunch of performance marketing ads out there. So that's also our strategy, is trying to figure out players like that, but also a couple of influencers that we believe fit the brand well, that the Americans trust.
Yeah. So your strategy is also really, instead of the new kid on the block having to do everything yourself, find strategic partners that already have that reputation and can help you launch, scale quicker. Yeah,
and then in B2B also we want to do a couple installations in a couple of hotels that we have relationships with, to do a big, it's fun with a physical product. We can do like a huge sculpture for free for a month, but make a bunch of content around it and lift off of their brand. So I think that's for us the way we're going to try, but next year I'll tell you if it works.
We have to do a follow-up of the panel. Marthe, you're launching in Revolve this month, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell more about that? And congratulations, first of all.
Because I'm very happy, but it was also a bit stressful because you have the tariffs. And when the order was placed in October, and we were very happy, but we didn't calculate the tariffs to go up. But I'm still happy, and I think that's really a choice for marketing, what you were saying, gaining trust, because if you're there, then people will place you in a certain corner. But it was a lot of figuring out, especially in the situation now. So I would definitely say, before you do that, take a big margin in your price and calculate it every month almost. So because I think now, I'm not sure if we made any money out of it, but that's not a problem. Like I think we will eventually. So that's the choice. What you also said earlier with saying yes, it's a choice you make. Okay, if you're there, they're going to place a reorder. They do an opening order and then another one. So it's a partnership you're building.
Yeah, no, and I think that's also good to mention. And that's, for example, a conversation that we had this morning. I think that also not all companies realize, but then in the US, there's so much more room to play with your margins and what you can ask for your product. Because also what you see now, of course, you have the tariffs, but the prices in the US in general go up very quickly, and the consumers are used to that. So you can also increase your pricing by quite a bit. And that's, in the US, there's way more margin possible often than Europe. So
especially if you are European, they love it, right?
Yeah.
It's like 30% more.
Yeah, we had at the trade show that everyone was asking, are these your wholesale prices? And you're like, So that gave us a lot of space. So the bags are significantly more expensive.
Yeah.
And I would say the same actually holds for investors as well, because here we had a certain valuation cap on our raise, and everybody was like, I don't know, it's so high. And then I went to the US to investors, and they're like, is the cap right? It seems low. What?
Yeah,
it's really nice.
Can you say more about differences in doing business or culture that you notice so far? And I'm also very curious to hear about you, Gwen, because you've lived there for so long, so you know the US business culture very well.
Yeah, everything is a little bit easier, I think, in the US and bigger. And of course, that has upsides and downsides. But it's just, there's so many rules here, right? And people are careful, and they need to, everything needs a committee, and flower decisions need a committee, right? And there, people just go faster in everything that they do, and it's more. I find it a bit more supportive, to be honest, as well. So if you say, hey, I'm fundraising, and you just mention it at the birthday party, then by the end of the birthday party, you have 10 introductions in your inbox, right? People really want to help, and they do. It's not just talk, right? You know.
Yeah.
And I find that really refreshing, and the positivity, and at the same time, that also means that when they're ready, and they're going to be ready faster, you have to be ready too. Because you only have one shot, right, to get it right. So there's not a lot of patience. So you don't want to be, too perfectionist. You just go. So I find it quite different.
No, you definitely have to move quickly. Also, because indeed, if you go to the party, people will introduce you. But if you wait 2 days with them replying, then you also lost the opportunity. Then it's done. So you also have to be quick.
Yeah. What is it? A New York minute takes 7 seconds? Is that the line? Yeah. It's true.
And for you, Marthe?
I think what I really found inspiring there is that they think in possibilities. So where you say an idea here, people come with 10 reasons why you shouldn't. And in the US, they come with 10 reasons why you should. So you feel really motivated the whole time. I think that was when I also had, when I came back from New York, I was like, the sky is the limit. While here you get sucked into quite a lot of negativity, and people say it's fake, but I also think it's very thinking in opportunities. And everyone in the US, even when they're poor, sees themselves as they see like, okay, but I can fix it myself. So that mindset, I can imagine that it can be very stressful, but if you're building a company, it's very, very helpful and exciting. People are really encouraging what you're saying as well. They really want to help you. If you say, I'm having a back brand and I have a community and I need help, I want to scale that, people are going, without even knowing you, helping you. So that's something I do have to say. Entrepreneurs here want to help each other as well, but the overall mindset is think big, and that's really inspiring if you're a fast growing brand.
And I definitely feel that wanting to help is very genuine. That's not fake. And I think in the US you really notice that typical American dream, that people really look up to people who work hard and build something for themselves. So they want to support and contribute.
Yeah, that's really what I experienced there.
Same.
And you both participated in we already spoke about it a little bit, but the New York Accelerator, SheSkill. So that was this fall. Can you share a bit more about the lessons that you've learned from that week?
Yeah, well, we met. It was a really nice group of people. And I think I went into the mission a little bit hesitant about, do we need to go to the US now, yes or no? Even though I always built the brand with the US in the back of my mind. I always knew that was the end goal. But I thought maybe I should wait because of the tariffs and everything that's going on. And I think I came back from the trip thinking, I should go now because everybody else is waiting. So this is the time. And that also was because of all the, all that positive energy and everybody that you meet that just thinks in opportunity rather than a challenge. So that was my main takeaway.
Yeah, I think I had the same. I was quite relieved actually when I came back, because you hear a bit of a doomsday, and I'm not saying that it's not happening, but I think it gave me a lot of energy, exactly what you were saying, like why wait, and just do it and say what you need. And a lot of doors went open because you just know, okay, I can text this person, I know I can contact them and ask for this and this. So it was really helpful. We met you. So before that, I was like, how do you go to the US? How do you do it with the entities, the duties, that kind of stuff? And then I had no idea, and I came back with a bit more a plan. I think it gave me a plan.
Yeah, and I really like what you said about just ask for what you need. That was, I think, in one of our sessions, we were told, when you meet with a New York person, in the first minute, you have to tell them what it is that you want, right? And then, we'll see if it's a match. And it's very non-Dutch, also very non-Californian, actually, where I lived, where you first, you have to do the relationship. And I found it really helpful. And I try to push myself still to do it because it's kind of nice to just be like, what I would love to get out of this is this. And it doesn't have to be, demanding. You can say it in a nice way, but I found it really helpful. And it's true because people really get impatient if you just talk about the weather.
Small talk a long time. Yeah.
No, and that's also what we noticed because we help a lot of Spanish companies as well. But there, the culture is very different from the US. And for the Netherlands and the US, it works quite well that you have the directness because they can definitely appreciate it. Yeah. So, before we dive into the questions, we have one final piece of advice that you would share with someone else, or if you look back to the day that you started your company, a piece of advice that you would give yourself.
For me, it would be think of a logistic plan. Because I'm happy I did not think it through, but I think it would have helped me if I did that on beforehand. And find a body, because I did it myself with my mom, but there's so much coming at you, and I really missed someone to talk to on that point, and it all felt like it was on my shoulders, and I also felt guilty for my mom because she was just helping out, and suddenly she was sucked into something she did not want. And since we have the team, since, for example, Emma is every day at the office, not sure how happy she's about it, but it feels really nice to share everything, to have a body in this. So I think I would really advise to find a buddy. I'm not really a mentor, but someone who's in the same situation as you are, because I felt really lonely, I think. I could not talk with my friends about it, and it's just a roller coaster. So if you're with someone who's on the same journey, that would really help, I think.
Yeah, I would say similarly, try to find what you are really, really good at and what you love, which is usually the same thing. And then find other people to do the rest. Because I think for too long I was pushing myself to do operations. You guys are going to be smiling now, yeah. And I can't. I'm not good at it. I'm not good at process. And I had to go through a bit of a process for that, actually, to accept that and think, hey, I should be focused 100% of my time on X, Y, and Z, and then I can have people around me who do the things that I'm just not that good at, and that really works, I think, for me.
Is that the first role that you hired for, operations?
Yeah. Well, no, actually it was marketing, because it was fun.
Okay, thanks so much. Let's give it up for Gwen and Marthe.